Hello.
Good evening.
Now, have I got you
Well, it's
coming
evening
through?
for me. It might not be for you. I know there's
Oh,
people
Garry,
from
because
Australia here. That's good morning.
I don't think I've got you coming through my headphones. Speak now.
Hello.
Oh, that's better. You sound so much better through my headphones.
Well, what can I say?
Right, sorry everyone, but I'm sat in my front room. I'm not sitting in my office, and I've got my moo on because it's chilly. I've got my fire glaring over there, keeping my toesies warm, and so here I am. And apologies for being late. My fault. My fault. Oh my God! Look at all the comments so far. Holy moly!
I know, and there's some cheeky people on there that were running a book on when we'd start.
Oh.
I've been watching. I've been watching while I've been waiting.
Rona's here. Hello. And I mean, this must have been hours ago you left this. Hours ago.
Oh, that was 7:38. Oh my God.
Rona said she might fall asleep. Good morning, everyone. Love to you all, says Viv.
Hey, Viv.
Suzanne Scheid's here. Hello, Pink Marigold Hand. Oh, they've changed the. Looks weird. Why is it weird? I don't know. Marianne's here. Hello, Hoofy Peeps.
Hi, Marianne.
Michelle Mallory's here. Howdy, everyone. Oh, it's changed to your actual names instead of your YouTube name. Why has it done that? I don't understand what's going on. Camilla, good evening from Sweden. Good evening. I nearly said Sweden. Hello, all, says Soothing Hands Equine Therapy. Dawn's here. Sunshine, hello from Tennessee. Finishing the fencing on my track. I'm so excited. Made it a bit wider to leave some area just clay dirt. I know that will erode, but oh well. Well done. Movement is king.
Sounds good.
Gail Dretch is here. Happy Thanksgiving week, she says. Very good. And Black Friday, isn't it? Or was it last weekend? I don't know. Kay, I'm never that on that. Kay Ellison's here. Ulrika's here. Hi all.
Hey,
how are all the cult members doing today? Well, haven't we had
it depends on which member of the cult team that you're talking about, whether it could be the Phoenix Way and Hoofing Marvellous, or the veterinary industry, or the farrier industry, or any other industry where you just have a team of like-minded people. Really, could be classed as a cult, maybe.
It's such a derogatory term.
Yeah, it is. It's just
intended to be demeaning, intended to undermine by people who fear what we're saying. Well, Dean's here. Hello, Dean. Hello,
Dean.
Misha's here. Hello from Germany.
Hi, Misha.
Sarah's here. Woohoo! You can all join me to do late yard. Grab a fork. All waiting for our gurus. Yes, we're not gurus. Anyone from Glasgow? Oh, wow. That's even the word Glasgow gives me shivers at the moment. Not Glasgow, but West Coast. Any chance of discussing your grinder tryouts? Would love some feedback. Yes, I was using the other one today, and I will share some videos with you. Becky's here. Hello, my darlings. Good to see you.
Hi,
Judith Blatchford's here. Hi from North Yorkshire.
Hello.
Toya's here. Hi, everyone.
Hi, Toya. Hi, Dom.
Sigrun's here. Hi from Norway. Hello. Caroline Schillig's here. Lovely to see you. Good evening, everyone. Winter's come to Portugal. Brr. Yes, it's
15 degrees.
I
wish.
Sandra's here from Czech. How are the deer?
Hi, Sandra.
Dear? How are the deer? How are the deers, dear? Sarah says, okay, I'm guessing 2009 for kickoff. I don't think you were far wrong there.
No, Jeanette was closer.
Thorax. Hi. Angela Garberg's here. Hello, everyone from southern France. Hello.
Hi, Angela.
Gail says, here in Minnesota as well. Heavy wet stuff accumulating. Ooh. Rebecca said 2008. Stop it, Caroline. It's going to feel like -4 here tonight. Oh, God, it was cold. It was so cold up at Galsworth last week when we were doing the dissection with Beck Stern. Freezing.
I had to go and buy thermals.
Oh, you did? And people had hot water bottles. Bethan brought out her
electric blankets.
Electric, like throws. I'm definitely getting some of those. They're throws. They're like this material. Just been hacked by my cat. But like electric blankets. Amazing. Amazing, amazing. What's this? Okay, time losers have to put up Christmas pics in the Phoenix group. I know what you're saying. Hello, hello. Right, okay, where are we? Let's keep going down. Charlie Brown's here. Hello, hello. What's this new button? Check me out in the super chat. Oh, I think you have to pay money for that.
I think you just paid. I think you just paid Lindsay a $5.
Well, thank you very much. I'll take that. I'll take that.
I think that's what's happened there, Sarah Lou. If anybody else would like to press the $1 button on the YouTube channel, that would be absolutely lovely. Thank you very much.
I didn't know we could do that. That's crazy. We'll take that for all conversations that we've been having over the last few days. Catherine Cat's here. I was going to say the whole name then. Cat's here. Hi all, chilly snow day here in sunny Alberta.
Good to see you earlier, Cat.
Maggie's here. Hello all, missed you on the lives for a while. Back now. Yes. Oh, you are and we are. Both of us are back. Both of us are back. Replying to your super chat. Oh, you've got a posh button. Who gave us that posh button? I don't know who gave us that posh button. I didn't ask for that.
I don't know what posh button is.
YouTube
Perhaps I did something that I didn't know that I did.
Well, it'd be on YouTube.
No idea.
It would be a YouTube thing, wouldn't it?
I would have thought so.
Blum, blum, blum. Do you have to pay? Yes, I think you do have to pay. It cost £5. Hello from North Sweden. -13 degrees. That's Therese and a beautiful northern light running around up in the sky. I'll bet.
Oh, nice. Hello, Therese.
But that's amazing. Marshall's here from Wyoming. So glad I warned Pistol's owner that her previous farriers will try to give her advice and not listen to them. He told her to tell me to trim the toes and not much heel. Ah, it's like we're in a parallel universe. Please, God, help me. God, help me. Help. It's the toe chopping universe. It's terrible. It's terrible. Get me out of here. Can't wait, can't wait. Hello. Susan Hughes here. Hello, my lovely.
Hi,
from
Susan.
Sunny West Wales. Oh, yeah, I'd love to see the Northern Lights. I'd love to see the Northern Lights. Becky says, I saw your post, Marshall. I'm glad you warned them and good to know they shook their head and walked away. He's really improving, which is great.
Proof is in the pudding. Proof is in the hoof.
Well done, Marshall. So glad you educated her. Farriers are insane. Bethan's here. Hello. Hi, guys. Bethan here, live and direct from Gawsworth Track Livery. Bloody freezing here for those wanting a Hoof Boss trimming video. I posted one today. She did. Go and have a look.
I haven't seen that yet.
Yeah, she did. It's a good one. Do you know the bit that I loved the most, Bethan, was when you were putting the Hoof Boss, when you'd finished it, and you were putting it in your bag and you were going, and you like, la 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 la. It was very amusing. I was using the Proxon today and I loved it. I kept the orange because I didn't have the Hoof Boss charged up like a pillock, and I've got the other battery here, but I took the Proxon with me and I didn't take your extra battery that you had. Anyway, it didn't matter. The Proxon lasted for about I suppose 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 hooves, something like that. but like not entire hoof, just getting the majority of it down and then following it up with my rasp. And I so preferred it because it's not got a wire and it's got just a turny button. Now, here's the interesting thing with the turny button. When you turn it on, it goes, and then you go, as you turn it around.
It's got variable speed.
Right, because you turn it to its top. But here's the thing. When you're using the Hoof Boss, which is a little bit of a pain to turn on, but I've got more used to that now, it goes, so it just starts straight away. And it can give the horses a bit of a, holy shit, what's going on? Whereas the Proxon, you can start it very low.
Yeah.
And
then go
it
up
doesn't,
to speed.
and then you gradually turn it up to speed. And honestly, I didn't have one horse flinch today, not at all. Whereas I did when I was using the Hoof Boss last time. The Proxon just doesn't have. I didn't feel there was that much of a difference in power. I thought the both were very similar. Today with the Proxon, I put the orange. I think I could put the orange. It's the one that's got even more knobbly bits on it.
Yeah.
That's a technical term. And
it's tungsten, I think.
Yeah, and then I left the red one on the Hoof Boss, which I didn't really use. And it did really well. I mean, you still got to, you can't really put that much pressure on it. Again, like our manual tools, you've got to have them nice and sharp. And there's no point putting a load of pressure on because you just exhaust yourself. Well, with the mini hand grinder, the Proxon, and the Hoof Boss, if you put too much pressure on and you try to push to sort of force more foot off, it just skids around and bounces about. It sort of goes against you. Vroom, it sort of like pushes against you. So you've got to just gently, like Bethan was doing earlier. It's not any faster than using your hand tools, but it's a lot less energy. Your energy. It's a lot less knackering. If I can get the leg between my legs, their front leg between my legs, I prefer to do that and use it. Just because obviously you've got your legs holding the leg, but it's just as easy really to do it with just holding it with one hand. But I'm always very conscious of my wrists, because if you're constantly holding heavy feet over and over and over and over again, especially feet that are moving around like this, you can hurt your arm, your shoulder, your wrist on the holding arm. It's fantastic for horses that continually put their feet down because they're compromised. And I'll tell you why. Because you don't have to, when you get the foot up, grab your tool, get in there, because obviously it's not easy to pick feet up when you've got tools in your hand. When you pick it up, it's quick to get going and to get started. And the energy that we waste as trimmers with these compromised horses that keep putting their feet down, and you keep going up, you go, down you go, up you go, down you go, up you go, down you go, is tiring. And then add on to that the manual tool as well. Now, I still use my manual tools. And if you look at Bethan's trimming video, she backs it up with the rasp as well. You know, she finishes it off with the rasp. For me, I have a very sharp knife, and so I can get through those bars quite easily. The feet are getting a bit softer now, and not quite or they're getting a little easier than they kind of were in the summer. But I have less compacted is really the thing. It's not so much softness, it's just less compaction. And it is good for using it on bars, but I didn't take the guard off on the Proxon today. I thought I'd leave it on, mainly because I forgot. And but it just comes off easily, unlike the Hoof Boss. It's got two little tiny little Phillips head screws, and so you just have to screw it and it just comes off. That will be much better when the guard is off. That'll be much better. Interestingly, I find as I'm doing all the you get little spits hitting you of hoof, but the worst part I found is if you try and go around the outside when you're getting a bit more skilled with it, you try and go around the outside and sort of create your roll, it spits back at you quite a bit, because then you've got it at a slightly different angle and it's spitting it all back up at you. Bethan did very good, and she was wearing her safety goggles. I didn't have any safety goggles on today, but I had these, well, my other ones, which aren't really safety goggles, but there is some kind of protection there. I would, the other good thing about the Proxon, so these are all the pros and cons, I couldn't find many cons, was that it perfectly fits, Gary, into our stand bucket. Yeah, that's worth its weight in gold, that is.
It is, very much so.
I don't know if you can get the Proxons all over the world. You can obviously get them in Europe. Can you?
I think you can. Should I find it and then I can put a screenshot?
And they call it, what do they call them? Extended arm grinders or something like that.
Yeah, like mini grinders, aren't they?
Mini grind, because they're used in the modelling world, aren't they? That's what they're used for. And I'm really meant to go on horses' hooves.
Yeah, but it's very similar. It's very similar to the Hoof Boss in every way.
I mean, that's where Hoof Boss got it from. I mean, they are, in all intents and purposes, identical machines, other than the fact that they have slightly different modes of switching on, and one hasn't got a wire and the other one has. Let me see if I can find a video. I don't know if it's been uploaded. Would you like to see a video of me doing my thing? Let's see if it's been uploaded. Oh, yeah. You might hear me swearing at some point. Hold on a moment. This is me using the Proxon. I don't know if you'll be able to hear me, because actually thinking about it, because you're getting this off my computer, so you may not hear it, but you will probably see it. You see that?
Yeah, I can see it.
Right, hold on, I haven't started yet. Tell me if it's playing.
It's playing, but no sound.
No. So that's with the guard on. And you can see that the guard is round the side there.
Mm-hmm.
So when you come over to this side of the foot, so this is a horse that is, as you can see, he's got a little bit of stretch there, and he's a little bit compromised. I was using that on today. So he needs to put his foot down fairly regularly. Now you can see when I've got it on this side, you've got to watch that guard, because it does get in the way. A bit more. See, look at that. Did you see that? Now what I was doing there was I was turning it on. So I've got it in that hand as I'm supporting this one, and then I'm turning it on, and then it begins. So it takes time. I'd be quicker with my rasp, but of course I'd use far more energy with the rasp. So for those people that don't have as much, this horse is very sound, by the way. Just so that you know, he's growing out his little wedge. So I'm going in on the heels there. And in fact, once you've got through the hardest part of the overgrown part of the horn, and you start getting it down to true horn and hard sole plane, as you can see, it goes faster. You start getting really right through it. And obviously all the time I'm looking at the back here. I'm looking to see what's going on at the back. And in a minute I get out my tool and I just give that a quick measure as well. Okay, I think that's it. I'll give you one more. You see, getting right in on that heel. I've barely touched the front. That's barely, the reason I'm not touching the front is because though it might look like it, this wall is not above the hard sole plane. And what I do when I come back in with my rasp is I just make sure I tidy all this up and level it all up to make sure that I'm proper level. You can see it's quite easy to use, but it does take time. And if I press too much, it goes down and bounces. But the horse didn't care. He was doing really well. You can see how much I'm taking a lot of time, and I didn't really need to exfoliate the rest of this foot around the front of the apex of the frog, because he was already down to the HSP at that point. There you go.
Very good.
Yeah, I enjoyed that.
Key thing with whatever tools you're using, you've got to know balance. You've got to know balance. It looks easy, but you have got to know balance. And I have to say, when you're learning and you're trimming with hand tools, you learn balance a whole lot easier with hand tools. But once you've got that balance and you've got that view and you know what's going on, then the mechanical tools are great assistance, more so than we ever thought. And for people that perhaps aren't quite so strong in the hand, or struggle, or horses that struggle to keep their feet up for too long, I think these tools are potentially going to be a godsend for the owners and the horses, for sure, more so than we ever thought in the past. But you do have to make sure that you understand balance. And that's where the challenges come in.
It is. And just look, this is just a comparison. I also had the Hoof Boss with me, but it didn't have much charge. So I wasn't able to use it a lot. But you can see the difference. You can see the wire. And that wire is always there. You've got to be careful and you've got to be plugged in. I mean, it's not a major thing, but you've got to watch it. And I suppose in some respects, I suppose not having the battery on the bed. I've checked the weight of both of them, and the Proxon is marginally heavier than the Hoof Boss, but not stunningly so.
No.
Laura's here. Is it important to allow hooves to grow between trims? I find myself trimming every week or two. If you have a balanced foot and the horse is moving and you have toe wall on the ground and all the growth rates are even and everything is keeping in balance, you can leave a trim, and the horse is obviously moving around. You can leave a trim for 6 weeks. We often do trims, 6 weekly trims. I mean, that's our cycle. Those horses you saw today, most of them will be on 6 weekly trims. The one with the stretch, he's on a 6 weekly trim. He's got toe wall on the ground and he's very comfortable. When you come back, and you soon know, because when you come back to trim that foot, if it's a huge amount to trim, the horse isn't moving enough. It's not because it's grown faster, it's just the horse isn't moving enough. And so therefore you then need to, I would suggest, trim better the next time, down more to the hard sole plane, that you may not have trimmed like that way before. But if you have, and you're convinced you have, then you need to shorten your trim cycle, basically. But if you've got no toe wall on the ground, you need a shorter trim cycle, because the heels will just fly away with you. Love these lives. Thank you. Karen Miller says, hello from US, North Carolina. Hello. Kim's here. Good afternoon from Chattanooga. Oh, yes, it's there again. I'm sure you've discussed this a million times, but I would love to know how to get through that compaction. Is it shiny? Do you know what?
It
In order,
depends.
oh,
It depends. Need to see pictures, really.
you need to see pictures, and you start looking at different landmarks in the foot to help you.
Yeah, it's not a 5-minute conversation, I'm afraid.
No.
If you did have compaction, then you need help to put it right. I'm afraid. It's a fairly simple process, but it's a process that can be so easily mucked up by doing too much where it's not necessary. So yeah, it's and compaction is so common. It's interesting because Lindsay and I were talking about it a couple of days ago, where we've done several workshops, and we get these lovely newbies, are people that are new to us that are trimming, and we see in these workshops, and we teach them exactly as we say. We want you to trim to the hard sole plane. We give them an in-depth demonstration. They get in there and they really keen. They get going with their tools. And then we're all wandering around, and if anybody's having any bother or got any questions, then we're going around with them, maybe doing a little bit of an impersonal demo, but we stick to the rules. You follow the hard sole plane. And what's really interesting on day 2, once they've had a go on one and they're on day 2, we actually measure all the heels. And it's between, when we get to the end, it's between 15 and 20% of those legs are above average heel height, which means there is compaction at the back of the foot. So if you extrapolate that out to the rest of the world, that's 15 to 20% of horses that are suffering with compaction. That means that they have rotation.
Right.
That means that they are at a certain level of out of dorsopalmar balance from front to back. So if that foot was x-rayed, it would be rotated.
Right.
So therefore, the capsule has hoof divergence. So a lot of people will have heard these new words before, and then it's all tied in with that dreaded word that we never mention, the L word, which is actually it's just the foot out of balance. It really is. So when you extrapolate that out, and I think, is it 2 or 3 workshops, we've done exactly that same exercise, and the results are exactly the same.
Yes, around about the same percentage.
And they're in different countries, these workshops. So it's the same around the world. So for a lot of people, trimming to the hard sole plane and balancing the foot properly is all you need to do. And it's really quite straightforward, as long as people don't try and change that for aesthetic reasons, perhaps. But it doesn't hide the fact that currently 15 to 20% of horses suffering from hoof divergence, rotation, for want of a better word, is too high. That is too high. We're in 2025. We should be able to balance a hoof, for goodness sake.
I mean, you're basically saying that nearly a quarter of all the domestic horses.
Exactly. That's exactly what we're saying.
Minimum.
Yeah.
Are suffering from severe hoof capsule imbalance, because even, and you've got to also think about, and we're just talking about compaction at the heels.
Yeah.
Then you've got other situations where you've got compaction at the toe. Well, they've left too much toe. They're not reading it properly. So you've got MPAs. Then you've got the situation where you might have those horses that are within limits, but mediolaterally they're off.
Yeah.
They're not balanced from side to side. Because I can tell you that They may be within the limit, but they might not actually be down to where they need to be.
Yeah.
And when I say the limit, within the range is what I mean. And if you are not following what the hoof is showing you, and you are just guessing where you need to put the heels, and so many trimmers do that. I mean, you hear people saying you can't trim to the hard sole plane. Well, what the hell are you trimming to? Because that's your only best chance of getting that guide for internal balance, because that's running along the underside of P3. It's telling you exactly where it needs to be. But of course, when there's compaction there, that's when it starts to get tricky. But that, like I said, like Garry said, you know, we that's not a 5-minute conversation. There are lots of other things you have to take into consideration at that point. It's totally fine. You can find it. You can.
Oh yeah, of course.
You can go through it, but it's not something we just, you know, just tell people in 5 minutes, because you've got to kind of explain it. And while we were building this school, and we're still updating and always progressing through the school, it's so exciting, because all our students are finding better ways of doing better trims faster. Because when Garry and I built the school, initially we were kind of telling everybody to trim to the hard sole plane, which is correct. But we know when we're dealing with compaction, and it's really difficult teaching people how to see compaction. So as the school has progressed, we've found better and better ways of teaching people to see the foot, learn where the parameters are, the constants, see the ranges, measure, look at other parts of the foot to guide you in, so that they can then have our eyes, which are very experienced at seeing through distortion. Because that's the thing, it's being able to see a foot through distortion. Did everybody see the picture that I put up on Facebook today? Shall I show everybody, just in case everybody didn't see it? Let me show you. I put it up about 3 hours ago, and here it is. Let me go and show you. Can you see that?
Yeah.
So in good old Lindsay style, you keep causing laminitis and we'll keep fixing it. Now, this photograph, I've reorientated it to be the right way, but that photograph was taken when the foot was that way round, sort of from the side. But I've reorientated it to put it on the right plane. And I've got here us bringing P3 back to its correct anatomical position, you keeping P3 rotated, and you toe chopping. There's a dark line here because this is taken at night, so there's actually more hoof at the front here. But this is a perfect example of what we are talking about. You can see two different planes here. You can see this one and you can see this one. And it's this plane here. If you could imagine that foot rotating, going, doop, that's the one where P3 is now like this. When we then realign, you've then got to rebalance the hoof capsule. P3 is then put into a normal position. So P3 is following this. You can see how different this looks compared to the other side. That's the frog you can see in the middle. So this was taken halfway through a realignment trim on a pony who last night was saved by one of our students. This happened only last night. And this pony is now beginning his rehab journey from incredibly high heels and chopped off toes, which was diagnosed as acute laminitis. So now he is learning how to walk on his new feet, and he's doing very, very well. The owner was concerned that the change, the vast change, because everybody's told that, aren't you? You're all told to fear soft tissues, and that this vast change would be too much for him. not at all. He was already crippled, remember, and he was walking on the tip of P3 when he was on that plane. This now on this plane, he's not walking on the tip of P3 anymore, and he's already moving around. He's a little bit stiff to get going because the pain will take a few days to a couple of weeks to properly subside. That's the pain of the divergence, the tearing, which everybody obviously still calls laminitis. That pain will subside over the next couple of weeks, and while that's happening, he is being supported on Bute, and I can tell you he was fully x-rayed before this happened, so that we could fully see the extent of the issue. And this was his worst foot, the left fore. And yeah, he's doing very, very well. The owner has been told not to confine him, getting used to different knowledge. Just like everybody else, when you're dealing with a situation like this, the owner is getting used to learning, rebooting the memory, because the memory has said laminitis caused by various things, largely endocrinopathic, largely diet, etc., has caused P3 to rotate and for the separation to occur. And so therefore you've got to keep them confined, you've got to keep them off everything, starve them, put them on a deep bed, all of those things. And what we're doing is completely turning that obviously a little bit on its head, and we are rebooting the system effectively, because that was not a truth. The truth is feet are like this. Feet are damaged, and because they have been on the incorrect plane, and there has been a lot of tension and tearing within the hoof capsule, and that's what's caused the problem. And how do we know that? Because we take a foot like this that's been x-rayed with rotation and separation, we rebalance it, you re-x-ray, and P3 is in a more normal position, and then you've just got to wait for that separation to grow out. And how do we know P3 is not moving independently in the capsule? Because when you do a realignment or a rebalance like this, you x-ray again, time after time after time, and P3 doesn't move. It doesn't matter how much separation there is at the toe, which is what we've always been told causes more lever forces, doesn't happen, or how much separation there is at toe, e.g. the laminae have been damaged. Therefore, because of that, because of the theory that was posited 25 years ago, that P3 was suspended in the hoof capsule, that when that laminae fails, P3 will rotate independently in the hoof capsule. No matter whether you do this realignment or rebalancing, it will rotate. And so too will the DDFT help aid and abet that. Doesn't happen. None of those things happen. So this owner is relearning how to deal with this situation, because she's been told over and over, like so many people, all of the things that we basically say, they just aren't true anymore. So that happened last night, and he's doing very, very well indeed. And
Well
that's
done.
a big shout out to one of our HMB Pro students, Alison Franks, because that was her trim.
Well done, Alison.
So well done. It was absolutely awesome. And she's here. Yes.
Well done, Alison.
Yes, we know. We know you'd like a Proxon too. Maybe Father Christmas will bring you one. Maybe Father Christmas will bring you one. You need to keep your mouth shut. That's a bit rude.
You're absolutely right, though.
I know what you mean. Patty's here. Hello, thanks to Laurie who advised me you were here. So much time without seeing you live. I know. It's been over a week. Hello from Canada, says Carrie. Hello. Yeah, Proxon is available on Amazon.
It is.
FR and Amazon UK. I don't know what other Amazon's available, and I tell you something, it's more expensive on the UK Amazon than it is on the FR one.
It is.
Little top tip there. Much cheaper, which is weird, because normally
it's the other way around.
It's the other way around. Loved your your video, Beth, and you always make me smile. Did you hear the?
I'm going to go and watch it in a minute.
Should we see if we can find it? Let me see if I can find it. Hold on.
I won't be able to hear the doing.
You will, because it's online.
Oh, I see.
I think that's why you can't hear ours. Oh, by the way, big shout out because Bethan has gone up to. Hang on, let's share this. She's zooming up the charts, and so are we, which is really interesting considering people are hell bent in trying to get us cancelled.
Isn't it funny?
Look at that
93,000. Goodness me.
Well done, girl. It's going up so fast, she's not even got a chance to actually get on and go. Hello, everybody. Thank you so much. No, I start sharing my post. Here she is. Here she is. Let's do it. Can you hear this?
Oh, yes.
Hang
I
on.
could hear it.
La 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 la. She's just cleaning that off. She's not making any noises at the moment. Can you see how she's tied the horse's tail up? That's important. Get it out of the way.
Very good.
Although it could probably do with going a bit higher up, but that's okay. She's got her glasses on yet. She's giving it a good clean. Why do we give it a good clean? Well, because we don't want any stones or anything out there. On go the glasses. Very good. Yeah. And for those of you who think she's just got her rubber gloves on, underneath those gloves are other gloves. You watch how long. This whole thing is only 2 minutes long, and this is how long it takes to trim this foot. Granted, it's a hind foot, so there's not a ton of stuff to do. Isn't it? Can you see how she's got her leg in here supporting his cannon bone, which is vertical, and his hock's just underneath her arm. She's backing this up, look, very quickly with the rasp. Naughty girl, not got a handle on, but that's because it gets in the way and she hates it. Finishing off the roll. She was checking the balance there. Can you hear her? Now she's just using the radius rasp, giving it a bit of a scuff so she doesn't have to bring the foot forward, and that's it. Boom, shakalak, shake the room.
Very good.
Oh, it's still playing. I've got shut her up. Shut up, Bethan. There we go. It's very good. See how quick that was? The wire is a pain in my ass. Yes, it is. Yes, Shannon uses the Proxon. That was it. I can't remember if it was Shannon that told us about it originally, but it's brilliant.
I think it was Shannon or Naomi.
I just realized my name isn't showing. This is Kim. Hello. It's lovely to see you. Definitely makes sense about compaction. I have a draft cross who has these crazy looking bars, and I'm so scared to get in there. I've been speaking with Vanya. I'll probably get that one-to-one. I have a one-to-one with Vanya. She'll put you on the straight and narrow. Absolutely, she will. Would you say compaction feels different with the knife, or is that only bar material? You see, the thing is, you could effectively call sole material, just ordinary sole material, compaction, because it's compacted. What doesn't feel the same is when that's flaking off. But then, depending on what happens, and people leave the heels and they leave it for too long, and then eventually that will compact to be what what you think is sole. So it's actually behaving very like hard sole playing, to be honest. You can't really tell the difference. Sometimes when you start going through it, you start to see seams of a flaky sole that have been trapped
It's
in
almost
there.
on occasion, it's like it's got layers.
Yeah.
It's
But
like it got layers. It's got a really hard outer coating, and then you go a little bit lower and you think, oh my God, there's flaky sole. And then it goes really hard again, and then it might go flaky again. It's really, and there's no hard and fast rule because it's not natural. It's not, but there is, to say something very general about compaction would almost be dangerous because every foot is slightly different with regards to compaction.
yes, and that pony foot I showed you on Facebook, that was going through compaction. But you've got to be very careful where you're going through that compaction.
Yes, very much so.
And Alison's quite experienced with her tools now. She doesn't even need to think about them because she's learned to use the tools. You know, she's been in the course. She's 3/4 of the way through already of a 2-year training. And so she's not thinking about her tools. So it's super easy to do realignments because I was doing it online with her because it was her first major one. And it's super easy to do this with students and with people who have been used to using tools, because I just needed to give her the instructions and she was straight in there and just doing it really quickly. And you could see how neat and tidy that foot was that she was doing on that rebalance. So that it makes a difference when you're dealing with people who know how to use the tools. Well done, Alison, says Kathy Yorkshire Lass. Get on. Bethan says learning to walk on their new feet. That's exactly it. It is. It is. Does constantly taking the toe back but keeping heels short cause separation to continue even though the trimmer is taking the toe to stop the separation? Well, now then, if the heels are not being kept down to where they need to be, then the answer to that is yes. Because when you're taking the toe back and what do we mean by taking the toe back? When you're taking the toe pillar off the ground, and there's this big thing, isn't there, that you hear people talking about, that they talk about the 4-point trim. So they're talking about 2 heels and the 2 toe quarters. So they're like, you can remove everything else in between 10 to 2, 10 o'clock and 2 o'clock. You can remove everything else, and that's fine if you leave those toe pillars. It's not fine. Because if you actually trim a horse that's got a completely normal, natural foot balance to its internal anatomy, there's only a fine point at the toe that actually is hitting the ground, and then the heels, and the rest of it is an arch. And if you take that away and you come back to here, which is where they're talking about that toe pillar, you have dumped that horse forward. I don't care what anybody says, you have taken a few mils off the front of that horse's foot and you have immediately dumped P3 forward and dumped them on the sole.
Yeah.
It proved 20 years ago that there were unnatural forces through the sole when the hoof wall is removed. He knew that hoof capsules were being manipulated and the devastation that it could cause, but they pivoted and went down the drug route, which was shocking considering now everybody is able to just go, well, it's not anything to do with me. No, I know I'm the person doing all the trimming. I know I'm the person touching the horse's feet. I know I'm the person who's going to make the biggest change to that horse's foot, but it isn't me. It's not me. No, it's metabolism. Yes, blame that. See, vets say it. Even the vets say it. It's not me. La, la, la. Oh, cough. No. I mean, it's like, you've heard me talk about that film Idiocracy where they're watering the plants with Gatorade. Bethan and I were talking about this. It's like we've found, with the greatest respect to anybody that is suffering from horrible, hideous diseases like cancer, but it's like we found a cure for cancer and nobody is looking because nobody wants to look, because nobody really can believe it's true. It's true. I can honestly tell you, and we will hit a tipping point where there will be an avalanche of understanding soon. I don't think.
Well, I hope it's soon.
It better be, because that little pony last night, had the person not contacted Alison, had Alison not gone out, the typical scenario would have been, they've taken a blood test, they found his insulin's a little bit high. Now, that is very, very congruent with horses that are in horrible pain with their feet, because the cortisol levels rise, and that causes stress, and it does therefore affect the insulin. They know this in human beings. There have already been studies done on that. So when you do these things, this realignment, and that you get them on the rehab journey, you then allow them to go for a few weeks before you retest again, and you'll find those insulin levels come down. They improve. But what would normally happen is they test that, they then prescribe metabolic drugs, because they're also now thinking that rise in insulin has the pathway is working down to the feet, not a reverse pathway coming from the pain to the metabolism. And so they would tell you to keep it on a soft bed, thick soft bed, because P3 is going to continue rotating and plummeting through the capsule. Doesn't happen. Only if the hoof care professional comes and remanipulates the hoof capsule, takes more sole off. That's the only reason P3 shows its face. So they're in there. Potentially we'll use remedial shoes, reverse bar shoes, or reverse shoes, bar shoes, rockers, wedges to wedge DDFT up. You name it, they go full bore on. And it's so simple. You turn up, you rebalance, you leave the toe alone, because that's already been chopped off. And for those in the, for this pony that could have had all of those things happen, they would continue to take the toe off as well. And you can see why so many horses die, because they perpetuate the problem. They don't realize they're Gary, myself and Beth, we just want to pinch ourselves sometimes. We do feel like we're living in a parallel universe. And I can see myself, I could have an out-of-body experience and look down at myself. Other people, I imagine myself being back in that universe, the toe chopping universe, where I was once. And I look back at myself, and I can see how they can think that we're nuts, because they've been brainwashed. And it's so ironic to think that they call us a cult when we're not the ones that are brainwashed. We're literally the ones going, here's x-ray before, and here's the trim, and here's x-ray after. No, it's not happening. It is.
All you got to do is look. The truth is in the hoof.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Awesome job, Alison. Truly was. I did mean when using I know what you meant. How we learn, and it's Alison, how we learn and how our eyes, brains develop the ability to really see is just fascinating. And once we can see it so obvious, and it becomes so obvious, and it can be hard to remember that others aren't yet able to. I know. I told you that, didn't I? When you see it, you can't unsee it. And same with Beth, and same with Gary, same with all other students that progress through the course, and eventually they start to, oh, now I've got it. And then you can see any foot, and you can start to immediately see how that foot is out of balance, even subtle balance. And then you know how to bring it back into balance. It's very exciting. It's very, very, very rewarding, exciting. And the way you start is get on a workshop or do the 10 and 15-day challenges. Don't forget the challenges, because they will take you down this road. If you haven't done them already, do them. Get to a workshop, because we're doing them all over the world next year. And if you really want to make some changes, do what Alison's done and learn to do this as a pro, because you may not want to go out and do hundreds and hundreds of horses or hundreds of hooves, but when you have the secret weapon and you have the skill, just think of that. There wasn't anybody, not anyone that owner could have called that could have made that pony better other than Alison at that time.
Yep.
Nobody, because they'd have gone back, taken more toe off, freaked out that more lever forces were happening, can't understand why P3's rotated, leave the heels even higher because they're worried about the DDFT, and then he would have just
And it wasn't
died.
for the want of seeking helpful advice. It wasn't for the want of that. It wasn't, there was no neglectful thought there from the owner or anything like that. She was seeking to save her pony. And for that pony, the stars were aligned. If Alison hadn't have come on or done the challenges, if Alison hadn't have come on to a workshop, if Alison didn't decide that she wanted to take on a two-year program and come along for the journey, this horse would have lost its life.
And
That is the reality.
And I'll tell you something else. Alison's retired.
Yes.
Anybody can do this. Anybody can do this. Anybody can. Once you've got the skill, it's about skill and technique and determination. And she's got all of those things. She said here, thank you for the shout out and guidance last night from myself, Stormy and Sophie. You're welcome. It was fun. I was in the car doing it while you would get, I wasn't working hard. I was just driving on my all the way up to Poitiers while helping you. It was fun. We enjoyed it. Tim enjoyed it as well. I'm pretty sure at some point Tim's going to be able to go and do a realignment trim. What tool is she using that's better than the Cody? You mean the Cody rasp? Do you know what, with the Cody James rasps, they are good for removing a lot of hoof wall off, but they are not good for refining, because they and even if you get the fine ones, you just simply, they're not good for refining. I often see people with Cody James rasps, and if they just continue with the one rasp, and even if they go to the fine one, the foot can look a little bit hacked. We use Hella Legends. There are various types. We use the white tang. We find it's narrow enough, light enough, sharp enough. But Garry will tell you, you've got to have good tools, haven't you, mate?
Oh, yes. And there's no point in trying to do this stuff if they ain't sharp. Got to look after them. If you're using a rasp that's been sat in a drafty, damp tack room or shed, and it's been there for anything longer than a month, chuck it in the bin, buy a new one. You've got to look after them.
WD-40 in a towel,
Wrap
clean
them in a towel.
Wire brush them off,
Yeah.
clean, WD-40, wrap them in a towel.
Same with your knife. Same with your knife. Keep it sharp.
And nippers.
And know how to use them. Know how to use them. Invest some time.
Invest some time, and they start with the challenges. I can't impress upon you enough. Do you know something? We get people coming into the Phoenix group, and we're pretty good at teaching, even if I must say so myself. And even if people haven't got the ability, they come on a one-to-one and we can help guide them. But I can tell you, for instance, in a situation with Alison last night, having some experience with what she was doing, it was smooth. Yeah. It went smooth. And I only had to do one foot with her, and then I could leave her alone and she went on and did the rest. If you haven't got the skills and you're not used to using them, you have to somehow get yourself there. And the only way you can get yourself there is by practice and by immersing yourself in everything that we're saying. You can pick up an awful lot from these lives. We've done 168 of these, Garry. You can pick up an awful
I know.
lot
I
of
keep
them.
putting the number up, and I think, oh my God, how have we actually chatted for so long? That's at least 168 hours, and some of them have gone on much longer than that.
I know, right? Like this one's about to. And then I've got my rocket science lessons, and then I've got my mini life challenge, which maybe I'll try again one day. But the thing is, you have to immerse yourself in as much as you can. But there's nothing like, you know, getting on and doing the courses and working your way through the foundation and up to becoming proficient. A proficient professional. Don't say that too quickly. Don't chop the toe. No, don't do it. Why did they take the toes off? My horse has finally grown out. Why did they take them off?
Ask them.
Ask them. But it's usually the answer will be.
It's usually
lever forces and breakover.
Lever forces and breakover, of which both we have proven are nothing to worry about.
No,
they don't exist.
Because you know, well, they don't exist in a way that needs to bother you. And if you have a horse, honestly, where you're having to chop the toe off because they're separating, for God's sake, stop. Because that separation, that lamellar wedge, is telling you that horse's foot is out of balance. And it's only a matter of time before that horse is going to crash. That's an acute laminitic event. They tip over the edge and crash. And some don't even need to go that far. And yet what we're doing constantly by taking the toe off is hiding that. Yeah, right. I'm going to show you something then. I'll show you something else. I'm sure Alison won't mind. I will show you I'm not going to show you all the feet, but I'm going to show you the x-ray, and I will show you also what the foot look like chopped off. So we'll go with the left fore. Oh, hang on. That's the one we'll show you, and I'll show you what that looked like. Okay. Let's get you over here so we don't lose it. Diddly-diddly-dee. Wait a minute. Trying to connect your callers. Let's just take you off. Okay, sorry about my croaky voice. It's a bit croaky, isn't it? There we go. Can you see this?
Yeah.
That was his left fore.
Oh, that's a bit blocky.
Yeah,
coronet band is horizontal.
Yeah. So we've got super high heels and a shorter toe in comparison to the heels. It's not how P3 is meant to be. And because of that, the result is this.
Ballet shoes.
There you go. Look at that. That was taken on the same day. Boop. There you go. So immediately, I mean, the really tremendously good thing is, Gary, that the vet who was dealing with it had heard about us and had heard about, knew about Gorsworth.
Okay.
And so was all up for it, which is great.
Fantastic.
And so what have we got going on here? Well, you've got a pony who has, for a long period of time, been in a very hyperpositive position, because you can see the amount of tip. He's lost this tip here, basically there. Where it used to be is no longer there. That has gone. He has got a ski tip, which folds all the way around here. And luckily, he hasn't gone so far that it's not recoverable. He still has a good, decent amount of dorsal face of P3. But any more than that, and that hoof caps is going to look super strange as he rehabs. So what you have to do is you have to realign, and you have to get P3 in a better position, get him off the tip here. And that's what Alison did last night. And now this now has to, and that's the old plane. You remember we showed you that image? That would have been the new plane, and that was the old plane and the frog. And then what happens is the strain and the tearing is taken off here. We still have a disparity in the growth rates because this has been taken off the ground, and this is going to still want to grow super fast. So you have to keep on this, keep on top of this all the time, constantly. And gradually this will just simply grow out and better connected. You can see how separated that is. And it's been like that a long time. It's actually not something that's happened just overnight. This can't rotate like that. It doesn't happen. It's not free to rotate inside the capsule. It's fixed. Everywhere the capsule goes, so does P3. You can see the coronary band is pretty much vertical. You can see how much the navicular bone is pushed up here. And so this pastern joint can't, this coffin joint can't work properly. This pastern joint can't work properly, and the fetlock can't work properly. And they hide this, you know, these horses for a long time, particularly ponies. They can, you know, the owner said she wasn't aware that he was struggling, but obviously he has been. She did mention he'd had a laminitic attack, a laminitic bout some while back, but of course it wasn't laminitis. Laminitis is a symptom. There's definitely inflammation of the lamina when this is happening, but this has not happened because of diet or endocrinopathic hormones going mental, or standing on one leg for too long, or fireworks, or the weather. What it is this is imbalance. And then when you go down here and you actually look at the state of the front of the foot, you can see what's going on. That is the front of here. None of this on the ground. And you know, the really sad thing is that this is the way the world has been taught, and they're all doing it all around the world, obsessed with breakover, obsessed with lever forces, believing that this is a metabolic event, that this is suspended in the hoof capsule and it's now dropping and rotating. It's literally impossible. And also, once you have reestablished a better alignment, even though you have all this separation and stretch, it stays put, which just completely
throws the theory out the window.
Blows the theory out the window immediately, because otherwise it would just keep going. And you can see it's not right. So
I think what the ironic thing is they hate seeing the distorted hoof growing out.
They do. They can't get their heads around it because they've been obsessed with this.
What they forget is yes, we are creating. Sorry, let's reword that. By us realigning the internal structures of the foot, we are showing the world how distorted they got it wrong in the first place.
Yeah, it's not our fault.
It's not our fault. We're fixing the problem, and we can't magic it back to health. But in a very short amount of time, that pony will be feeling a whole lot better.
Absolutely.
In a very short amount of time. And it never ceases to amaze me how they put up with this amount of discomfort and distortion.
Or they go in shoes, or they go in boots, and
it's because
they get footy, and
people just don't want to see that they've got it wrong for so many years. Well, come on. Put your brave pants on, for Christ's sake. For the sake of horses, put your brave pants on. We're fed up with seeing this. We're in 2025. We should not be seeing this barbaric ignorance, is what it is. And I know if you haven't got the knowledge, that's one thing. But when it's so frustrating that when you provide all of the evidence the case studies, the videos, all of our students, all of our Phoenix warriors, the amount of support. This is not a cult. This is people leading by experience.
And example.
And example. So what's happening here is we say trust the horse. So now you've got to trust the owners of those horses, because they're the ones that are actually sticking up for us in the big wide world. When is everybody else going to stop hiding behind a piece of paper that says stuff that is shit? Well, I'm sorry, but I'm getting fed up with it.
I know, it's hard. And it's what we do every day, isn't it?
Every day. And we
out,
see so
in,
much bloody suffering. It shouldn't happen. We're in 2025. And I know for majority of people that are on this call or on this YouTube, they will be absolutely rocking on. If that outburst grabs one person and one horse and saves it, it was worth the outburst. Saving one horse at a time.
And I saw a post. It was shown to me of it's always the professionals. They write these posts, and this lady put a disclaimer on it and went, "Well, disclaimer. I haven't really fully looked into their protocol," and then proceeded to basically say we were wrong, and said that there's no need to have the toe on the ground. It's the 10 to 2 4-point trim. It doesn't need to be there. Well, that little pony, that what I just showed you, that was a 4-point trim.
It was. He
was walking on 2 heels and the 2 quarters towards the toe, and the front part had been completely removed, right through his inner and outer hoof wall, right through his white line, right into the sole, as you could see there. I've got a saying, I always say it, don't be so naive to think you can do something to one part of the hoof and the other part of the foot doesn't know about it. It does. It causes growth rate problems. And that is your divergence starting right there. It's a massive, massive problem. It's so massive. You can see how massive it is because everybody's talking about lever forces break over, taking the toe off, freaking out at our toes, saying that they're long toes. They're not. I think we should stop using that term long toe and just start using the term displaced, distorted. I saw somebody today write a wonderful a supporter of HM and TPW. I don't even know who it was. I'd not heard of the name before, unless they're using a different name on Facebook, but they wrote a perfect description of exactly why you need to leave the toe wall on the ground, because she'd done her due diligence. She'd looked into what we're doing. She's using it with her own horses. And she said, you can't take that toe off. It's a body part. And I loved that. I loved that. And I'm going to use that. And I used that in that post. It's a vital body part. Don't take it off the ground. It's needed. It might look funny to you. It might look like it's irrelevant. It might look like it's long, but vertically from the coronet band to the ground, there's not enough depth usually. Which is why when we realign, so that little pony you've just seen there hasn't got enough at the front of the foot. It's not deep enough because it's lost that little tip, and the foot is imbalanced. And so to those people out there that think we're doing long toe, low heel, they have no clue what we're doing. A low heel gives people the impression it's too low, that you've gone beyond what's natural for the horse. Not at all. But the world has got so obsessed with heels being higher, they've forgotten where the heels need to be, unless probably never even knew that in the first place. And so therefore they see a proper heel, which is low, as wrong. It's not wrong. It's perfectly fine. We can tell you when these people go out and say, no, don't trim to the HSP, it cripples horses. People are crippled everywhere. You only have to go, my friends, and look at that post that was put up over the weekend by Glasgow Equine Practice, University of Glasgow. You've only got to go and look at that, where they tried their damnedest to throw us under the bus and say that we were giving out misinformation. And it blew up on a page that was usually no more than 3 comments on a post. It blew up. And what they expected to happen was a pile-on. It didn't happen. The reverse happened. The pile-on was on them. Now, they said that they were open for discussion, but they're not. That's just a coverall to sound professional. Not at all. If you go down and you look at the comments that were derogatory to HM, and some were really derogatory, calling us a cult, etc., you'll find that they're liking and loving those comments. The ones where you had incensed owners getting on there going, listen to me, I've lost my pony. I nearly lost my other horse. I'm not going to let it happen again. These people have got it right. That my pony is now surviving. They didn't like those. No, they didn't give those a like and a love.
Didn't fit their narrative. And also, they didn't do their due diligence. They didn't know what they were talking about. And isn't it interesting that you've got that veterinary practice that decided that they wanted to try and throw HM under the bus, but then you've got Alison's friend's vet that had heard about us, knew almost exactly what we were going to do when we turned up, and is totally on board. So you've got 2 equine practices having 2 totally different thought processes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh my goodness. No, good on the vet that was there, because having that x-ray and seeing that happening and being able to see the logic in bringing that P3 back into alignment and being able to offer pain relief because it will be needed for a short amount of time, and all of those things is so important. It really is. But why are so people hell-bent on old science and not seeing the evidence that we provide?
Not moving on.
And where is their evidence that what they're doing is working? There isn't any.
They've had 25 good old years since Pollitt really brought out the SADP theory and started saying that lever forces were probably an issue. 25 years, which is actually now within the range of what of most professionals now. So they don't know anything different. That's what they've been taught. 25 years they've been having a good old go at fixing laminitis, millions of pounds spent on it, and they've got no closer to it at all. The closest they've got to alleviating it is by saying, oh, well, cryotherapy works quite well, cooling the feet. No shit. They were doing that 50, 60 years ago when they recognized horses were having problems keeping them cool. Why? What do they say when you hurt yourself? When you have an acute injury?
Swelling. Yeah, put ice on it.
Right. That's not exactly not rocket science, is it? Is that what your millions of dollars has told you to alleviate a bit of the pain? Stop now. For God's sake, time has moved on. We know now. We know, we have proved it. Just because the feet don't look like you think they should look in your drawing book, which is really all textbooks should be called that have those diagrams in there. That's because it doesn't look like that. Don't walk away from what we're telling you, because we are fixing horses left, right, and center, saving them from being put to sleep. Bethan says here, she says, the farrier wouldn't have known how to trim their way out of that. Let's face it, if they knew, they wouldn't have got it in that state in the first place. It makes me so mad. It makes us so mad. Now, if you don't know, you don't know.
Yes,
you can't be
exactly.
accused of being
No, of course not.
abusive if you don't know, right? But if you've started following us, and I can tell you, there for as long as TPW has been going up and way longer, we've been talking about this. There have been people who have been following us now for quite a lot of years, scoffing at us, laughing at us. They've got themselves into such a state where they've been seen online having a go at HM. They can't roll back. Those people are still going out, chopping off toes and leaving heels, and then calling it laminitis when it all goes wrong. Those are the people that really make me mad, because those people are continuing to tell people to look away from us, to stop looking over here because we're mad, we're a cult, blah, blah, blah. They're still the people still doing harm to horses' feet, even though they have been told lever forces and breakover are not a thing that are important if you have a balanced foot. Why aren't they hacking the hell out of the back feet then? Why don't they chop the toes off the back feet? That pony didn't have, guess what? That pony didn't have the lamini showing on the back feet because the trimmer didn't hack the back feet off. Stop it. And if you are trying to hide a lamellar wedge, you shouldn't be, and sticking a shoe on or a boot over it and chopping a toe, you shouldn't be riding that horse. No, because that horse has already been put in a horrible position and it needs to rehab and get better. For God's sake, wouldn't you like a world where we weren't having to do this damn rehab? I've been doing it for 25 years. As long as Pollitt has been saying the SADP theory has been alive.
We shouldn't be we shouldn't be seeing this amount of distortion growing out of feet this day and age. We shouldn't be seeing it.
No.
The industry has got a lot to answer for, but it is never too late. It is never too late.
Well, we won't stop talking about it.
Have that realization. Have that realization. Be the bigger person. See the evidence. Instead of just blindly going along, oh no, it's not happening. Oh no, it's not happening. It's playground stuff. It really is.
And Alison said here it was a barefoot trimmer. I tell you.
And that foot was only trimmed 2 weeks ago.
And it was only trimmed 2 weeks ago. And that horse has got osteonecrosis. Yeah. That didn't come out of nowhere. I guarantee the hind feet don't look like that. We have got to stop doing this. I see the same people on these posts. They're like our stalkers, and they go round and round looking for any HM bashing that's going on today on Facebook, and they join in and they share it and they clap their hands and they think it's great fun. And at the bottom of all of that are horses suffering, dying, being put to sleep, and still they think it's funny. I put that picture up on Facebook of that half realignment that Alison did. Somebody laughed at it. That's what we're dealing with. And that vet practice didn't like or love any of those owners of names Garry and I don't even know, most of them.
No.
Are getting on that post incensed and angry, toe chopping, leaving the heels high, killed my pony, I'm not going to let it happen again, killed my horse, I saved my horse, over and over and over again, giving these stories. And are they looking? Are they open to discussion? Are they open to learning? Are they hell?
If they were open for discussion, they would have actually contacted us before they put that post out.
Not even bothered. They thought they were going to get a cheap gotcha, and it backfired hugely.
And from a university, that is, I'm sorry, that's horrendous.
It is horrendous.
That's horrendous.
And they turned off comments, not because they said because there was some aggressive comments. Have you read down through those comments?
Well,
there's nobody aggressive. There's people upset because they're not listening, and they're going, for God's sake, listen. Time to move on. No, it's not happening.
All they were doing was telling the truth. And I have to say, everybody that I saw that had commented, as frustrating as it must have been for them, they commented with truth and elegance. And all I can say to every single one of you is thank you very much.
Oh my
Share
God.
it. And it's not for me. It's not for Lindsay. It's for all the horses out there that have had a positive outcome from following our work. That's all it is. And it's, I suppose it's a way of paying it forward, isn't it? It's a way of paying it forward. If you're seeing what we're saying is right, and we've always said, don't trust us, trust your horse. It's not about the Garry and Lindsay show. This is about changing the equine world for the better. That's what it's about. That's what it's about.
Absolutely. I can tell you, my friends, I do not want to be a social media influencer. I am not trying to be a cult leader. I am not a malignant narcissist, which is something that gets thrown around a lot. I am just somebody who was an owner who nearly lost her 3-year-old, Tim's trying to call me, who nearly lost her 3-year-old Shetland, Sonny, through that exact type of trimming, and it has not changed. And that was over 20 years ago. I was just an owner who worked it out over a long period of time. And now we've got school, now we've got a Phoenix group, and we can fast track you through that. You don't have to go through all the pain and aggro and learning. I was those people. I left heels and chopped toes. And that's in the dark ages, people. Move on. When you've seen the suffering we see and the osteonecrosis and the horrors,
which is all preventable and created by man. That's the sad state of affairs. So it's got to stop. It really has.
It really, really has. And I can tell you there are far more pleasant, calming, easy things I could be doing in my life.
Oh, of course.
Than doing this. I will never stop doing it. I will do it until I can't do it anymore, whenever that time may be. But when you know there is injustice in the world, you have to keep going. What we're telling you is the full and complete 100% truth. This is not some cultish thing. This is not some people just making it up as they go along, trying to be different. And when they say, where is their science? Let me tell you, their science doesn't exist. There's nothing on lever forces and there's nothing on a DDFT. In fact, everything that has ever been published about the DDFT supposedly pulling P3 through the capsule, i.e. doing a tenotomy, cutting it, re-x-raying it, P3 doesn't move because it's nothing to do with the DDFT, and P3 is fixed in the capsule. The only thing that makes P3 move is by reorientating the capsule. You go and read them. Go to ResearchGate, put in tenotomy, go read them. It's a disaster, and they're still doing it. It's embarrassing. Resections, what do they think they're doing? Cutting away the dorsal wall to make P3 ping back. What kind of nonsense is that? You're taking away even more stability. Not even thinking that the hoof is dead and it doesn't have any feedback. It's ridiculous. How do you think it keeps on growing then? That the papillae are only there to supply nutrition. Not been any research. And we know that from other species, that the papillae are part of a vast communication network that are communicating with the keratinocytes, the basal cells. They're in contact. Don't just think, papillae, keratinocyte, I'll just give you a bit of food. That's not what's happening. It's special, clever communication between the two that's going stimulation, no stimulation, stimulation. It's feedback. It's basic biology 101, homeostatic functions. And they're everywhere, all over our bodies and all over the horse's body. And with that, thank you both again for all your help you give to all of us. You are both awesome. Thank you. Stop. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Never stop. Never stop helping horses or owners. Lindsay and Gary, we will, through you guys, we will live on forever. Do you know what? I couldn't care less whether whenever I go off this mortal coil. But there's one thing I pray before that happens, is that the world wakes up and realizes that what we're saying is true. And as much as everybody hates the word Strasser, she knew it as well. And she was hounded out of the equine world, really. She didn't get it all right, but she knew what was going on.
She knew an awful lot.
We've got to stop blaming diet, and we've got to start, sadly, and I know it's painful. I do know it's painful. We've got to start looking at the people who are using the tools. They've been underneath. I don't know how they've managed it, but they've been under the radar for far, far too long. Bethan says our inboxes are horror shows. Horror shows.
They are, and I think that's
horror
where,
shows, folks.
I think that's where, and I hope, in all hope, that those horror shows, as much as we see them, we don't become blind or complacent about it, because if that happens, we might as well numb to it. Yeah, it's that can't happen. That can't happen, because otherwise that's the time to give up. It can't happen. It can't happen.
And you hear, don't you, of vets, sort of high suicide rate. You hear of vets just not coping. You hear of them becoming desensitized to losing horses, putting horses to sleep. It's a safety defense mechanism, I suppose. It's horrible. Just imagine you got into this to save animals, and you actually could. You actually could. And it takes a few vets to stand up to the RCVS, who are still beating the old drum, and will do because, it's not a peer-reviewed paper. Even though those peer-reviewed papers are flawed, go and have a look.
Yeah. Scratch the surface, go and review them. Have what they've said been recreated? If not, they're not worth the paper they're written on. You might as well take them out of the bloody journals.
Start again.
Oh, hold on a minute.
The stuff you see is...
Nobody will make any money.
No, laminitis ink.
Nobody will make any money. And I know that's cynical.
Oh, but it's bloody true, Gary. I
know that's cynical.
It's so true, though. The stuff you see as post is only the tip of the iceberg, says Bethan. Absolutely.
It is.
My 21-year-old mare who's been footsore for 15 years is moving with freedom in 3 short months. I will never unsee what I know now, and I'm learning every day. It will be owners who demand change.
Absolutely.
100% Carrie. All those posts you see out there slagging HM off and bashing us to the hilt, throwing us under the bus, calling us calling it clown shoes, calling us idiots, layman, you name it. Every name they've tried to use, they've thrown at us. All of those things, those are all written by people who are meant to be professionals.
Yep.
The people who are there in the comments going, please listen to me. I'm never going to let this happen again. Please listen to me. This has happened to my horse. Please listen to me. Those people, you are the ones we are giving a voice to. And you are getting louder. And if you saw that post on that Glasgow vets page, you go and have a look. They stopped. You can still like all the comments, but they stopped allowing people to comment because they got inundated. As Tim said, it wasn't quite the lap of honor Professor Pollock thought he was going to get. They should listen. They should listen, because if they don't listen now, they're going to have to listen at some point. So you might as well start listening now. You know, we're not loonies. Gail says, thanks to the Phoenix Way, I should be back on the trail with Mac next spring. Awesome. Thank you for keeping owners, helping owners help their horses. We will never stop. We will never stop. Right. And with that, we're going to say good night or good day, because we've been on for an hour and 35. And then I can phone Timmy. Timsy, as he is being called online, because they think that. Did you see that? There's
somebody thinks that Tim is you on Tim's profile.
There's a few of our stalkers, the ones that always pop up on honestly, it's like clockwork. You go, here they come again. Oh, there they are. Oh, there they are. All the usuals. And this one guy goes, because Tim replied to him and he went, "Ooh, I'm honored. The great Lindsay Setchell is speaking to me. Why don't you just come out as you? Why don't you just tell everybody who you are? Why don't you just stop hiding?" Tim's like, what are you on about? I'm literally her partner. Are you all right? And so now they're sort of calling Tim Timsy. It's ridiculous. Like,
Get out of the playground. This is serious stuff.
I can tell you,
lives are threatened.
I don't have control of what Tim says online. I really don't. Lives are being threatened. Lives are being hurt, suffering, and lost.
Yeah, they are.
And it ain't going to be on our head. I can tell you that now. Oh, no.
Nope.
So stop, get out the playground, start behaving like grown-ups. And if you don't like the fact that we put out pokey posts, then for God's sake, see why we do it. Because when we're sick to death of and it's not their fault, but seeing in our inbox every single day, people saying, please help me. So sad. So sad, so sad. We love you guys. We love you. Keep going. You are bloody awesome. You will change the world.
You are part
every
of the change.
Single one of us, one of you. You will make that change. So just keep going. All right, then. We'll see you on Thursday. Bye.
See ya.